Mini Motorways tips. These are tips for the video game Mini Motorways. The game has approximately 5 different related groups denoted by different colors. They're going to be blue, red, yellow, orange, green, etc. A red car goes from a red house to a red workplace and then returns. Try to build so that each group has dedicated roads only for their houses and workplaces. So you can see when I built over here, I built all the blue on the same road. I built over here, all the red are in the same road. The yellow goes in a different road. You can see I did the same thing over here. All the gray goes into the same road. All the red goes into the same road, etc. Because you want to direct the traffic so that only those cars go to the destination. It's just easier. You can use motorways to connect detached groups. So I'm not going to have an example here, but if there were a group that is across the river, you can use a motorway to cross a river like a bridge. You can connect a group without, you don't have to use the regular roads. You can use the motorways to do it. Traffic lights are good when you have an intersection and one line of cars is unable to move due to congestion. I used traffic lights a lot. I didn't find them to be very useful. Roundabouts can become congested. Roundabout looks like this over here that I'm pointing to with the mouse. They can become congested. Actually, that's not a roundabout, is it? There's one over here. I'm pointing to it with the mouse. I'm undecided. After playing for a long time, sometimes they're good, but in general, I would say has a minimal impact. There are actually advantages where a roundabout or a traffic light can change how much time it takes for someone to go through an intersection. So there are some advantages. Someone did test it and found that there's a slight advantage to having a traffic light. Cars slow down at intersections. Try to reduce the number of intersections. So, for example, you can see on the top over here, in order for a car to drive all the way across, there's an intersection, another intersection. Each house creates another intersection. The cars will slow down when there's intersections. So you want to reduce, like these 3 yellow houses, I could angle 2 of them so that there's only one intersection. Or I could drop them down to the bottom road where the vehicles might not be driving as fast. If you see traffic congestion, fix it immediately, because if you don't do it, you will lose the game. Here's an example where there's traffic congestion on this bridge. My experience is that if you don't fix it immediately, you will lose the game. That's what happens. You'll start getting congestion. What you do is you pause the game and you figure out how you're going to fix this so that you don't have this problem anymore. Avoid sending motorways into busy intersections. Motorways should connect houses to places of work. Do not connect one group of houses to another group of houses using motorways, likewise with buildings. So these are houses on the right side, and there's houses on the lower left, and there's workplaces in the middle. You don't want to connect a motorway from one group of houses to another group of houses. They have to go to the workplaces. So when you set up motorway, think house to workplace, house to workplace. Likewise, you're not going to do workplace to workplace. And I'm not saying it's impossible, because obviously you could do from one yellow to another yellow, and the yellow cars are coming from the same place, and they could go to any of those destinations. But in general, my experience is it did not work. And then avoid sending motorways into a busy intersection. So if you look over here, you see we got a lot of blues where I'm pointing on the mouse. You don't want to send a motorway directly into there. It's just going to create more traffic congestion. you want to try and send the motorway somewhere so that it minimizes traffic congestion. The map grows because it's always slowly zooming out. If you sit and watch, you'll notice that the map is zooming out slowly. I never use roundabouts or traffic lights. I usually take motorways and bridges. If you have a big map, you're going to need lots of road tiles. Every space for bridge counts as one road tile. So the bridge allows you to create a bridge, but you use road tiles to create the bridge. So if you make a bridge that's 3 spaces long, you're going to use 3 road tiles. If a building needs cars quickly, change a motorway to send the necessary vehicles to fix the problem. So what I do sometimes, you see we've got green here and green here. If I've got 2 green motorways, I could change one of the motorways to send more cars to the other building if I wanted to want to help remove some of the, I guess you call them pips, I don't know what you call them. Many maps become congested on north-south traffic because of the horizontal nature of the maps. So my experience is that the north-south traffic is where we get all the traffic jams because we usually use the motorways going east and west. You can view the map at the end of the game to see how you may have been able to fix it. What I do when the game is over is I study my map to see if I've done anything wrong, and I'll give you some examples later. You can take a screenshot and review it later. You can also look at your rank compared to other players. Each map has its own rank. Always take motorways first, bridges second, traffic circles third, traffic lights last. Although I'm undecided, maybe if you learn how to use traffic lights, you might get some benefit. Depending on which mode you play, you might run out of road tiles. So over here, you see the blue cars. It used to be a road going straight across, but what I did was I made it go under the bridge. And the reason why is because now the green cars can get into this building very quickly, and the blue cars, which are going from west to east, they don't have to cross with that traffic. They can just go under. But if they need to use the bridge, they still have access to it. So build these little underpasses for your motorways. You can see over here on the bigger map, I did it over here where it zoomed out, although I don't see any other locations where I did it. Now, what I'm highlighting over here on the left, you see these green houses. You'll notice that they have to drive south, west, and then north to get to the building. What I should have done was built the houses facing north so that they get there faster. They would have saved a few tiles in order to get there. When I build, for example, we've got these yellow houses in the north. I should have angled them to the west because they're going to be driving to the west. All of my layouts are done that way. I aim the traffic in the direction where I think the cars are going to go. Over here we have an example where there's a little bit of a traffic jam. It's not so bad because they're all different vehicles, but I guarantee you the cars at the end are not going to get to where they're supposed to be going fast enough. So it's a big problem, and it needs to be fixed. And this was really tough. I tried ending the motorway in the middle of the road, to the left and to the right, and no matter where I tried, it didn't fix any problem. A lot of different cars are using this motorway. So these are some tips from the AI system. Plan your route before you start building. What I do is I basically use the pause key, and I just pause the game every once in a while. Make use of the grid. Don't know why he said that. He says it'll be easier to build straight roads and intersections. Take your time. No need to rush in the game. Like I said, pause the game frequently. Sometimes I'll pause it every 5 or 10 seconds to watch what's going on. Experiment. Obviously, you learn the game through experimentation, and I'll probably do another video which shows all the little ideas that I came up with. So one of the things that I did was I posted some maps. Like this was a beginner game that I did. You see that my layout wasn't very good. I had a lot of traffic problems. I had an isolated part that I could not connect. But when you get to my later maps, you can see that I did a better job laying out the maps. Over here we have a case where the green vehicles are not returning home fast enough and there's no traffic jam. Why aren't they getting out fast enough? That's something that would need to be fixed. Here we got an example where the north-south was getting a traffic jam, which is something that I experienced in the game until I started doing like east-west design. And we'll look at some Los Angeles maps real quick. The good maps are always down at the bottom. These are early games that I played a long time ago, which is why they're not as good. Okay, so over here we've got green and pink trying to get in the lower left. Did I say lower left when it was supposed to be lower right? You see there's a lot of pink over here. Okay, it's referring to next to the T1, there's a pink and a green building, and there's a line of cars trying to get in. And because of that, I lost the game. They weren't able to enter the parking lot over here. There's another entrance that's not being used. The proper way to do it would have been to take advantage of both entrances, which means I might have had to put the motorway in the middle, and maybe some of them would have gone around to that side, and maybe that would have fixed the problem. I'm not sure. Another tip is I try to, like this red line, I wouldn't put it on the south because then it's increasing the amount of time, which is why I would put it in the north because it's coming from the north. But over here you can see an example with this yellow motorway number 4 on the right, where I put it low in order to enter the building on the right. They can still enter the building on the left, but they're less likely to cause a traffic jam because of the way I placed the motorway. And I could have put it even lower. They would have gotten in here a little bit faster, which would not have made much of a difference. Okay, so those are my tips for mini motorways. You can go and look in my forum in case I have more tips posted. And you can read some of my other tutorials, for example, how to do traffic lights. And don't forget to check my YouTube channel for other mini motorways videos. And I am the owner of cheapbooks.com, which is a website for books and textbooks. The forum is cheapbooks.cc, and then you go to video games and look up mini motorways. If you have any questions or comments, please post below.